Help him on the pick!
U.S. is big. They're awesome. They've won every game by about 30 points. But they've got something to prove here. They are going to try and prove that people were wrong when in Barcelona they lost a gold medal not out on a court, but in a judge's room. Reggie Colton, I'll tell you what, he is something. He scored 124 points. He's just about impossible to stop inside. It's rather remarkable given his disability balance, and his strength is extraordinary. As big as the Americans are in the middle, they have some skill and speed on the outside. They've got Mark Shepard, number 6. Against Canada in the final quarter, this guy was nothing less than a machine. We'll see him here. He just comes down, calmly takes that ball, and sticks it right up into the basket. Team USA has also got a player they simply call the Tree. He is unbelievable. Let's look at him.
Guys can handle the ball like Magic Johnson or shoot the ball, you know, as well as any able-bodied player. Play good defense, display great fundamentals. The biggest thing for me was just learning how to maneuver the chair effectively. Anybody can get in the chair and push it, but to be effective at it, know what you're doing and why you're doing it, that was the hardest part. And it takes normally a couple of years or so to do that. It's good to be a little bit fast so that you can avoid a lot of these real physical players, but you get caught up in the grind a little bit. The coach that we have this year, Brad Hedges, is really stressing a different type of basketball in which we attempt to create numerical superiority on offense and on defense, just to force teams into playing a half-court offensive game and to help out, play a lot of help defense. One of the things we try to do a lot of set-back picks, which means we try to hold a defensive player in the back court and let our offense go down and set up, and then that player releases, and for that brief period, be it a second or so, we have a 5-on-4 advantage, and just try to keep the defense off balance and confused. My first international competition was the 1983 Gold Cup in Halifax.
Wait a second, Reggie.
Well, I was on the 1990 team in Belgium that lost the Gold Cup in France, to France, rather, and, you know, that left a little bitter taste in my mouth. And then I wasn't on the team in '92 in Barcelona that won the gold medal and subsequently was stripped of it. That we have 2 or 3 guys from that team that are here, and so, I mean, the U.S. in general just feels that, you know, we need to reestablish what we feel is our superiority in the game. On my second year playing, one night in practice, I happened to repeatedly knock down or intercept passes attempted by one of my teammates, and he just made a comment actually saying, well, trying to throw the ball around him was like trying to throw the ball over a tree, and it just kind of stuck and it became my name.
This game is going to be a real challenge for Great Britain. They've got their hands full with the American team. Like Canada, they're not a team filled with stars. They've got a lot of individuals playing together in excellent unison. Now look for them to go inside to compensate, to see if they can actually counter Tree Waller and some of the others like Reggie Colton. And here's Dan Johnson with that winning bucket against France. What an incredible play to bring Brits from behind to beat France, the reigning gold medal champions from past competitions. The Brits have really got to have some emotion in this game, Jack, in order for them to be able to actually counteract the Americans. They've got to take them out of the game really early, because this American team is a finely tuned machine.
Yeah, on paper, I don't think that it's any different than their game against France, though. I mean, France was the defending champion. Great Britain wasn't given a chance to play in that game, and they won that game. That's what they're hoping is going to happen. U.S. has got to be off their game. Great Britain's got to be on their game. And it's going to be a good one.
And Great Britain's in a great position right now, because essentially nobody thinks that they're going to win this game. All the pressure is on the Americans, especially after a stellar performance against Canada in the semifinals. So they can come in here and take them out of the rhythm. They've got a chance to be a giant killer, just like any other game.
And the U.S., when it gets down near the end, the U.S. realizes a 5-point win is not going to help them. That's going to be a victory for Great Britain.
Let's take a look here at the hoop shots. Percentage for the United States, 51-44. But rebounds is a real decisive advantage based on the size of the Americans. Turnovers will be a key. So far, the Americans have been pretty disciplined on turnovers during the tournament.
Both teams shooting just about the same. I mean, the difference in the shooting percentage is not. But as you say, the rebounds are such an important part of this game. And then the turnovers just, they give you an extra shot at the basket. Percentages don't mean that much.
Yeah, they've got to capitalize on first chance opportunities. Well, the athletes are down on the floor right now exchanging gifts. They're all preparing for this important first jump ball. And as you know, whoever gets the mark, moving, a bit of momentum. Last time, the Americans came down within about 10 seconds against Canada, and they scored an easy bucket, and it really set an ominous tone for that game.
Leading rebounder in the tournament, as we had 20 yesterday,
Jack Donahue. John, we're ready for that beginning of this very important gold medal game. Jack, from the coach's perspective, Coach Brad Hendricks from the United States is probably looking at this saying, hey guys, I've got the system, you're doing it well, just keep it going.
You bet your
What
life.
about the British team?
Well, we know that it's David and Goliath, and everybody really roots for David, but they all bet on Goliath, you know. But the idea is that's what they've got to do. It's got to be a major upset. They have nothing to prove here, and the U.S. has everything to prove.
Yeah, just coming back with the silver medal is a major accomplishment and breakthrough for the British team on the international scene. I think the British coaches are probably going to be taking a look at this game and saying, look, we have to remember that Germany really had control over the game against the Americans in the round robin for the first 3 quarters of the game. They looked vulnerable. They are human. This is an entirely different game. Forget about the awe of the Americans. Make sure that you realize that you can do it.
And the key thing that we have to remember is, on paper, this is not a tough game for the U.S. The game's not played on paper. It's going to be played right out there on that basketball court, and anything can happen.
And each athlete has his own threshold that he has to deal with in preparation for this game. You know, if you're too excited, you're going to be over-mobilized, and chances are you're going to be tight, try to do too much, and you're just not going to be in your rhythm. If you're not motivated enough, again, you're going to be sluggish and off the mark. So coaches have to really know their athletes and give them enough slack within the confines of a team context.
That's right. It's somehow the coaches have got to realize, how can I get out of the way and allow these people? And of course, the only thing I'm worried about is my friend Michael McCready out there with that Scotch accent. And I had trouble with my accent trying to communicate with guys. I'm sure he's having some problems there too.
It's the gold medal game at the 1994 Gold Cup, the World Wheelchair Basketball Championship. Scorching temperatures outside throughout the entire tournament, but the real heat was on the hardwood right here at Northlands Coliseum. Some excellent action, some thrilling results, and now we're down to the top 2 teams at the tournament, Great Britain and the United States, as we check out the starters for this afternoon's final. Number 4 is Mike Schlappe of the United States. Number 6, Mark Shepard. Number 10, Reggie Colton. Number 14, Trooper Johnson. Number 15, Daryl Treewaller. For Great Britain, number 4, Steve Kane. Number 5, Tony Woolard. Number 8, Simon Sumo Munn. Number 11, Dan Johnson. And number 13, Joe Giratny. Co-coaches David Lloyd and Michael McCready for Great Britain. Coach Brad Hendrick for the United States. And the officials this afternoon, Gilles Briere of Canada and Norbert Kucher of Germany. And Rick, you have something to say about the officiating crew this afternoon?
The officiating, you got to give the officials a lot of credit. I mean, you know, they're usually, Jack, in a no-win situation. I mean, they make one call, one team is going to think they're a hero, and the other thing is going to get goat. So they're tremendous, and they deserve a lot of credit here. These are 2 of the best officials in the world, suitably refereeing these games.
And that's right. That's suitably, because just as we have world-class players, we have world-class officials, and as many yelling and screaming all of us have done, when they don't know what we want, they're the only guys out there that are really impartial.
And that wins the opening tip, and Dan Johnson quickly a 2-0 lead.
And Dan Johnson was the hero in the last game, and boy, that's a key play for them to get on the mark quickly.
That's right. Jump right out.
We had a foul from number 13, Joe Giratny.
Mike Schlappe to inbounds for the U.S. To the tree. Back to Schlappe. Lob pass inside for Reggie Colton. And he gets it and ties the score at 2.
Well, there's no mystery in that strategy, Jack.
That's right.
John, I mean, they're going right into the trees,
That's
Colton
right.
and Treewaller.
Now there's Johnson. Over to Giratny, who hit a pivotal 3 as part of that late surge by Great Britain to score the upset victory. Giratny.
Good recovery. They can't afford. Great Britain cannot afford turnovers. They want this to be a game of finesse. U.S. wants to be a game of talent.
Johnson tried to get the pass inside for Simon Munn, but it was broken up by Colton. He'll leave it there for Trooper Johnson. Quick pass to the tree. Guarded by a pair of players. And pops it off the glass and in, 4-2 United States.
Well, just like the beginning of the Canadian game, the Americans seem to be pretty comfortable on the mark. But unlike the game in Canada, here we have the Brits who are starting off with a bit of offensive thrust.
Johnson tried that lob pass intended for Simon Sumo Munn.
Well, Great Britain can't afford lob passes. The U.S. is a bigger team, and you can't throw the ball over people regularly.
Is there any way of getting through the forest, Coach?
No, I don't think so. I think what you got to do is move the forest out of the way, with some good ball handling and make that shot.
Tony Woolard glides in, couldn't get the original, and then got the rebound, and then fell down onto the play.
Got to like how
Officials
Great
whistle.
Britain is really taking it to the Americans inside there, in spite of their height. They're not showing them a lot
That's
of respect.
right, yeah. And as long as they don't try and lob it means that height is the major advantage. If they can move that ball, then quickness becomes important. Look at this good defense.
Great steal by Tony Woolard there, got a paw on it, and quickly up the floor come the Brits. Steve Kane, guarded by Schlappe.
Kane seems to me to be a very steady player as I watched him throughout the tournament. He just seems to be able to calm things down, hit open shots, and just get the ball moving pretty. There's that lob again. I mean,
Well, the Americans are forcing them to make those tight lobs, and you've got to be right on the money. What I do like, though, is still some patient ball handling by Great Britain. The Americans are so powerful, you can watch them here in this exchange.
Mark Shepard, who led the team with 18 points in the semifinal there for Tree Waller. To Colton, back to Shepard. Doesn't get that one, and Dan Johnson rebounds. Up the floor he comes with 17.5 minutes to go in the first half. USA on top 4-2. Johnson with it. Posting up inside is Tony Woolard. Has to get out of the key, avoiding the 5 seconds violation. Now Steve Kane down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jake Jaratny. Long pass for Woolard, and easily knocked down by the tree. He leaves it there for Colton, who busts it up the floor. And the foul called on
the
Waller.
tree, I believe, yes.
Tree Waller.
What Great Britain has got to realize, because of the size of the U.S. players, they can play off their man a lot more, which cuts down passing lanes. That pass that was thrown across court by Great Britain earlier might have been there, except Waller was so far off his man, he just ran right into the passing lane.
That just reflects how the referees are calling it on the offensive side. They're really careful, making sure that the offense isn't running over the defense.
Jaratny, who had 5 points against France, gets that one to Munn. Rebounded and brought down.
Steve Kane sneaked right in again. Shades of Patrick Griffin, huh?
In the land of the Giants.
That's right.
There's Shepard. Excellent playmaker. Gets it over to Schlappe, inside for Colton. And underneath is the tree. An easy bucket for Darryl Waller.
When you let Tree Waller in like that, that's basically almost an automatic bucket. Even if he misses a shot, he's going to be in excellent position for the rebound.
Tony Woolard brings the ball up the floor to Jaratny. 6-4 USA leading. 16 minutes to go here in the first half of our gold medal match. Tony Woolard trying to swing around back door as Munn leaves it there for Johnson. That's his department, at least his shooting department from that range, and he missed that one. Trooper Johnson with an unbelievable game in the semifinals. He did it all. Up to Schlappe. Glides in there unmolested, and pretty much an easy bucket.
Well, look out there, and I mean, I'm just amazed how many great players are out there for the U.S. Over the 10 days of this tournament, every one of these U.S. players has been a hero.
They sure have.
Johnson to Jaratny. Shepard guarding him. On the baseline is Woolard. Thinking about shooting, does, and gets it.
That's a big bucket right in Tree Waller's face, over top and in.
Schlappe, and a foul just around center court. You're watching the Gold Cup, the 6th World Wheelchair Basketball Championship from Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. Schlappe takes the inbounds play, 15:05 to go. USA leading Great Britain 8-6. Colton, top of the popper, inside for Waller. Dumps it there for Trooper Johnson. Doesn't get that one, but follows up and gets the second crack at it.
There's Rick's point. Trooper was right in there, didn't make the shot, but by the fact that he was sitting in there in the paint, he got his own rebound, stuck it right up, no contest.
Position in wheelchair basketball is so critical because of the existence of the chair. It's almost impossible to get around. And when you have position, you're in the money. In able-bodied basketball, you can usually jump and slide a lot easier.
Johnson completes the three-point play. USA 11, Great Britain 6. And I mentioned what an unbelievable game he had in the semifinals. 14 points, 6 assists, 6 boards against Team Canada. Steve Kane with it. Guarded by Colton. Has to swing it out of the top of the popper. And Johnson and Kane exchange passes. Pass intended there for Munn. Broken up by Trooper. And up comes Schlappe to Shepard. Colton underneath. Guarded by Giratny. Quite the mismatch. Didn't take advantage, but following up was Waller. Still a battle for the ball underneath. And Colton gets it to fall. Or are they calling it a foul underneath? And the basket
they call that walking with the third push on the wheel.
Okay, so the score stands 11-6. Sorry, Jack.
No, the key there that Great Britain had a chance to box out. The shot was missed, but somebody came from the backcourt, slid right in and got it.
Johnson, his shot just off the mark. Shepard grabs it in and gets it to Waller. Up the floor quickly is Colton, and there another mismatch as Kane tries to guard him. Shepard to Schlappe. And we saw a lot of those type plays in the semifinals as Schlappe would slide in down the lane and get the basket. Colton, now to Schlappe. 13:50 to go here in our gold medal game. Team USA taking on Great Britain.
We had a kind of an interesting conversation with Schlappe yesterday, Rick and I, and his dad is a basketball coach.
Yeah, he's very into basketball. He's also a great motivational speaker, working with young kids and talking about self-esteem and life skills.
Excellent pass, Shepard to Trooper Johnson, who finishes nicely, 13-6, Team USA on top. Now Johnson, Kane sliding towards the baseline. He likes it from this range, and proved there why he likes it from that range.
I'll tell you, Great Britain hitting their open shots, which they have to do. Now they just got to get down here and see if they can stop the U.S. once in a while.
Waller with it. Colton trying to slide in underneath. Gets the ball. Dumps it off to Schlappe, who makes the spin move and dumps it back out to Trooper Johnson.
Fortunately, Schlappe was called for 5 in the key, just a little too long in there before he actually got out.
And a timeout called. Surprising sort of tempo, considering that in the other matches that these teams played in the semifinals, it was kind of slow going, but good quick pace to start the game.
Can we hear what's going on in those huddles, I wonder?
I think we've got a mic over there at the Great Britain team.
Keep the offense going and keep looking inside, okay? Keep talking. Keep talking indeed. Okay? You've got to.
Good, huh?
Great suggestion. You know, they're trying to get that offense going, and they want to keep taking it to the Americans inside, not show them any respect. A few of their lob passes have missed, but if they keep going, they're going to zero in and target it and start to actually cause some fouls.
And the other, Coach Michael with his thing, keep talking on D. Keep talking on D. Communication and position are essential in every game.
How important is that, Coach, for the switches, for the picks, for the...
Well, I'll tell you what, if you shut basketball players up and they weren't allowed to talk, they'd be pretty easy to beat because they just wouldn't. If you don't communicate, you can't find out what's going on during this game.
Waller gets a paw on that, quickly up the floor to Trooper Johnson. Oh, nice dish to Colton. And Tony Woolard forced to take the foul. That was free sailing for Colton.
But wasn't that a great play? We'll get a good look at it now. The way he delayed, looked as if the pass is going to the deep man. We see in the end of this where he gets fouled. But the pass before this was a great basketball pass.
And when Colton and Waller get within 12 feet, it's almost indefensible. And this such a high percentage shot.
Giratny, lead pass for Kane. Good hands to take that one. And hustling up under the rebound is Johnson. He gets it to Woolard now, to Giratny. The fans appreciative so far of the hustle by both teams as Simon Sumo Man gets that one to fall.
And Simon Munn was a key player against the victory in France there, so they've really got to see Nunn come up and start to play ball.
But that was a clinic, a give-and-go clinic on that last basket by Great Britain.
Shepard.
Foul on Price, but he had his work cut out for him. Trying to keep one of the U.S. big men away from the basket. Very tough mismatch, and he got caught pushing a little too much.
There's the Trooper. Raised plenty of heck against Canada on Thursday night. Now Shepard. Kane there to get the rebound.
That's a guy you almost forget, Shepard, who's one of their great shooters.
Yes.
So far, he's 0 for 2. I guess basically what I've seen the difference in Shepard tonight is that first shot was a lower percentage shot. The second one was a bit of pressure in his face, just throwing him off his rhythm a bit.
That's right, and with almost 9 minutes gone, he's hasn't had many shots.
Now Kane with it, 11:35 to go. Team USA with a 3-point lead. Kane, long pass to Woolard. High arc on that ball as he was forced to take the shot by Colton. Underneath is Johnson, dishes it off there. And Munn fouled on the play.
You gotta like the position that Great Britain's in right now. 13-10, the pace of the game isn't that fast, slow and methodical, and they're right in this one.
This is their type of game. This is the way they'd like the game to be played. U.S. has got to up-tempo this. You know, the more finesse, the more teamwork that's involved in this, the less the talent of the U.S. gets a chance to take over.
Giratny underneath is Munn, but look at the position by Colton, had to force him out of the paint. Giratny now bangs it off the iron. Trooper Johnson grabs it, gives it there for Waller. Back to the Trooper.
Great screen by Great Britain to get the shot off, and then great rebounding position by the U.S.
And a charge called against Colton, I think. Or was it Mike Schlappe? You're watching the Gold Cup, the 6th World Wheelchair Basketball Championships from Northlands Coliseum in Edmonton. And Johnson has it with 10:55 to go. A 3-point United States lead. Johnson, lob pass for Munn. Leaves it there for Giratny. Pretty good shooter. Gets that one to go.
Good solid screens. Giratny gets himself an open shot, not because anybody left him, but because he was screened by another Great Britain player.
Average 5 a game during the round robin. Now Waller to Shepard. Britain within 1. Waller bounce pass to Trooper. A good hustle by Johnson to make the steal there as Britain breaks back.
U.S. should keep that ball off the ground. Their size
to Simon Munn, back door, snuck in there, and laid it in nicely.
And I think you're going to see pretty soon a timeout by Brad Hendricks, or at least some words of encouragement to try to settle his team down. Boy, the Americans are just not in it, and probably one of the dangers is when you come off such a high the game before, you know, if it doesn't feel the same, you can really go downhill fast.
Shepard
really took the time. You know the confidence the U.S. has. He took his time. He knows if I miss this, the odds of us getting it are pretty darn good.
And there's the difference in that shot, too. He had a really high percentage shot. There was no pressure. He just lit it up.
Steve Kane, team leader in assists, going to do it on his own that time.
Great drive. Great drive to get in there.
As the Americans break back, Schlappe going towards the hoop. Lays it in. He's pretty deadly when he makes that move inside.
Schlappe, a 1.5 classification. Remember, we're going 1 to 4.5. And, you know, going in there against such a big player like Nunn, you know, that was a real gutsy shot and a good one at that.
Schlappe has 4 points. Leading the way now, Trooper Johnson for the Americans with 5. Steve Kane has the ball now for Britain. Looking for the outlet with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Tony Woolard completely misses, and the Americans break back. Shepard sliding inside. Leaves it there for the tree. Gets it into Colton. May have forced that one, but following up, Trooper Johnson, this guy is everywhere.
That's box out, box out, box out. I think every coach that's coached basketball has a tape recorder that just screams that out regularly.
And when a guy like Colton is so big and effective inside, he's going to attract that double team that opens up the middle, and old Trooper Johnson just took advantage of it, came in and picked up that nice rebound.
I have a lot of respect for Trooper. I mean, not only on the game he played, just watching him throughout this tournament. Here's the play, and we're going to see Trooper come in from the back court. All right, he sets a screen here, pivots away, beats his man in here. He's going to show up with that basketball and lay it up. We'll have to take my word for that, I think. But a lot of times, a player like Trooper, who shoots the ball right, you know, they kind of take it easy when somebody else is shooting. You know?
He's definitely done it all for the USA throughout this entire tournament. Second on the team with a 14-point-per-game average. Led the team with 20 assists during the tournament. And a 100% free throw shooter, 9 for 9 coming into today's action. He has been most impressive. We really were treated to some great basketball by him on Thursday night.
That's right. At the expense of Canada.
Yep, unfortunately.
I think Canada now, with that medal in their pocket, looks at that game a little differently.
They sure do. And I'm sure that Coach Brad Hendricks is looking at this game, trying to encourage his players from the United States to come up a little bit on the tempo, speed it up a little bit, and then, of course, execute slowly and effectively down court.
Kane to Callum Gordon, another impressive player. He's really done the job for Great Britain this entire tournament. An aggressive player, and he's battling it out inside. Pass intended for him. He gets it. Good hands and a good bucket.
Excellent move.
I think you're going to say that was a beautiful set play. Gordon coming off the bench. He's one of their best players. They've prepared for this American team, and that was one of those backdoor plays where they had a double screen set.
Came off, they hit into the postman, cut off the postman, didn't get what they wanted there. He swung around, had a double screen under the basket, and came up with his shot.
Tree Waller bangs that one off, and Simon Munn gathers it in. Now to Gordon, 7:50 to go here in the first half. Entertaining game so far. USA 19, Great Britain 16. Steve Kane. Now to Johnson. They exchange passes. Kane thinking about going to the hoop, and does. Johnson.
You gotta like Kane. Yeah, he's taking it to him. He's putting up his shots. Misses a couple, he goes right back to it, and that one dropped in.
And a tough guy to leave alone with the ball, because he has the ball and he's a great distributor, but boy, you let him get inside that paint, he's going to shoot the ball himself.
Now Trooper Johnson. Nowhere to go inside. He's going to have to outlet that one to Shepard. Shepard shoots. Good hands by Munn, but then Waller gets it away. Good battle underneath. Gordon couldn't get a paw, and Shepard finally ended up winning that volleyball match. Popped it off and in.
That's the thing, when you're fighting with the U.S. big men, a guy like Shepard slides in there and gets that ball and sticks it up.
And if you can't get control, they're going to just hit it in the air again until that ball bounces back closer to their hands so they can get control and grab it.
Mark Cheney, 6 points a game in the round robin. To Kane. Goes towards the paint, and a nice steal by Schlappy, and sends it down the floor for Trooper Johnson. And Trooper, who doesn't normally miss those one, has that one go off the rim.
And I'll bet there are a couple of U.S. players wish that they had followed down to try and rebound. They all were so confident.
Ted Johnson rolls, throws, and it goes. That was a real nice one. Great Britain within one.
Johnson is sure a great shooter off the move, especially on that left side using the backboard.
Now Schlappy with it. Over to Shepard, 5:55 to go, as Colton fouled underneath.
Fouls pretty good. 6 for Great Britain and 3 for the U.S., but that's what you'd expect. U.S. sometimes comes out and has 7 fouls, that they've caused, again, none for the other team.
This is the Gold Cup World Wheelchair Basketball Championship from Edmonton.
What a beautiful play that was. Came up to Colton, who didn't have the shot. He could have taken it, dished it right back. We had Shepard wide open for an easy bucket.
That's how they got here. So, all that talent, but that talent can get beat up. This is a team game. They play very well together.
The Americans are an outstanding team.
Simon Munn tried to get that pass inside, and Colton was there to break it up. Now Mike Schlappy, the Americans averaging 30-plus points in terms of margin of victories throughout this tournament.
That's why this is such a good game for Great Britain. They're in a 3, 4, 5-point game regularly. U.S. is not used to playing in that. Not that they can't. They're just not familiar with it, especially in this tournament.
Waller. Looking to Johnson. He has other ideas as he goes baseline for Colton. Colton up and in. A 5-point U.S. lead with 5 minutes to go.
Key basket now. Let's see how Great Britain goes. I mean, 5, this would bring it to 3, which would really annoy the U.S. They don't want to get stopped here.
Steve Kane to Johnson. In for Munn. Kane with 10 on the shot clock. He loves it from that range, and he's pretty automatic when he gets cooking.
As he stepped up to play today.
Now Schlappe, as the Americans have themselves a 3-point lead. The Trooper Johnson on the wing. Foul called on Mark Cheney of Great Britain, pushed off.
What I like about the British offense at this point is they recognize that they're outmatched in height, but they're starting to use those double screens coming in behind with protection and outside shots.
Yes, I mean, they have to. It's got to be a game of finesse. See, there's that screening they do. They're not afraid to use that screening coming off the post. They've lost Kane's man.
That's a double screen because you've got Gordon down low, and that's an automatic shot off the boards.
Trooper Johnson to Waller. Good spin move to get a handle on that ball, and then bangs it off the glass. I think the foul called on Simon Munn.
Foul is on Great Britain number 8, Simon Munn. Pushing foul is there.
Now that's a real concern for Munn. 3 fouls. He's their key big man. That's right. Only 4 minutes to go in the first half.
And from what we've seen in this tournament, might be their only legitimate big man. I agree with you, both of you. I really respect Great Britain for the way they've come into this game. I mean, they are ready to play. They're not backing off to anybody.
And the tendency's been the last couple of games, Great Britain comes out really tight, and they've been playing catch-up the entire, 2 games leading up to this one.
Now there's Coach Brad Hendricks probably talking to Mike Schlappe about making sure that he hangs on to that British defender who's passing and then going through and cutting off the double screen and banking that ball in.
4:16 left here to play in the first half. USA 25, Great Britain 22. It's the gold medal match of Gold Cup 94 here at Edmonton. And the tree will step up to the courtesy stripe. 63% from the line coming into today's game. Boosts his total a little there. Boosts his team total by 1. USA 26, Great Britain 22. Kane now breaks it up the floor. Mark Cheney trying to sneak in back door. Price with the ball, top of the popper, guarded by Shepard. Out of Kane. 10 seconds on the shot clock. That pass intended for Gordon and broken up neatly by Colton. Now Waller, long distance for Trooper Johnson. Behind the back he goes to Schlappe. And Kane pretty much read that one. Wasn't fooled by the behind the back pass.
In any game, balls that are thrown on a bounce or thrown on a lob are questionable. The only way you can be sure of getting the ball to the man you want is to make sure that you get it right in a line drive. And
nice
then to prove me wrong.
There's an outstanding play by number 15, Dave Bramley, who came in for Simon Munn, who's in some foul trouble early.
Nice dish from Steve Kane. Had 15 assists coming into today's game.
Here's that lob pass I said you shouldn't take. It's a good thing players don't listen to coaches, right, Rick?
There's a difference in the lob in that one, though. That was a real short lob. It doesn't take any time for that ball to fall in. It gives them a chance to shoot before Waller will respond and come over and put pressure on the offside.
That's right.
And the bomber, who's yet to hit from the free throw line this entire tournament, continues with his woes. USA 26, Great Britain 24. Waller to Johnson. Good matchup here as Kane and Johnson are mixing it up, and more collisions on the other side of the floor.
It's interesting, the British strategy now. You've got Colin Price in there, number 14. He's the second leading scorer behind Callum Gordon. So they've got some offense now on the floor. They've managed to contain them defensively. Here he goes.
Price Oh, what a lovely pass that was to Bramley. Couldn't finish it off, and the U.S. breaks right back. Shepard.
Sometimes people see someone throw the ball behind their back like that and think it's a little bit of hot dog. That was the only pass.
Exactly. It was perfect, right on the money. Shepard now takes the dish from Waller. The U.S. content with working it around the perimeter. Nobody in the paint. As Johnson considers that one, bangs it off the the rim, and Britain breaks back. Quickly they do. Quick pass to Callum Gordon, puts on the brakes. Oh, just missed that one, and Tree Waller hauls it in.
Gordon was just a little overpowered coming in there. He was moving so fast and couldn't quite get the angle on the turn in time to get up there and shoot it.
2:20 to go, a 2-point U.S. lead. Waller sets up there, gets the pass to Schlappy, but not before the whistle blew. Foul called on Great Britain. The World Wheelchair Basketball Championships are coming from Edmonton. Johnson misses on the free throw. Great Britain gains control.
Jack and John, Johnson has been a little quiet this first half as compared to previous games. I think he's going to have to turn it up a notch.
What a pass from Steve Kane to Callum Gordon, seeing it was, and this score is tied at 26.
And Trooper Johnson is the last guy you'd want sitting up on that foul line, and sure enough, he goes up there and misses.
Waller, guarded by Gordon. A couple of Americans trying to sneak in back door, including Colton. But there's Mel Jouet that gets it. Now Johnson off the rim, and Kane, who's been all over the place, gets that one. Quick passing all the way as Price goes up and in. Oh, I thought that might have dropped in, but Waller again there with the board.
An amazing turn of events here as the Brits are actually fast breaking the Americans with their height.
U.S. has got to get back. I'm sure the coach is after him.
Now Colton dumps it off to Johnson. Quick pass to Jouet. That one won't go down. And Britain there for the rebound. Kane and Colton colliding, but the Brits break it back.
Kane is a good man to have his hands on the ball. Very cool, a quiet leader, it seems to me.
Price, top of the popper for Kane. To Bramley, now around they work it to Colin Price. Second on the team with 14 points a game in the round robin. And takes a vicious slap there, courtesy of Mel Jouet.
Good thing he got fouled. That clock was going down. We were down about 4 or 5 seconds, and it didn't look as if Great Britain had anything going.
Look at that. You look at the bench there for Great Britain. Those guys are pumped up. They're so excited. Here they are, a tie game with 43 seconds to go in the first half. Boy, that's going to really help them in the confidence coming out in the second half.
I don't think the Americans have ever been in this position throughout this tournament. Not tied this late in the first half.
They're usually used to about a 10 or 12 point lead when they throw the ball up in the beginning of the game, for crying out loud.
They did have one difficult game against Germany in the round robin.
Now run the sideline. Run the sideline that side, right? Good strong pick. Let's get it inside.
Look at this again. Get it inside. You know, a lot of teams that say, "Hey, don't go near those big guys."
Exactly.
You know, they're saying throw it in, and the sideline fast break they're looking to, and Coach Mike gives them. We got him now. I mean, he's not talking about staying in this game. We got him now.
Go right at him, and that they have been, despite a couple of trees in the defensive scheme of things for the U.S. Price, long pass, and going in is Kane, picked off by Woolard, and Jouet brings it up the floor. There's Kane hustling back, but the pass off to Johnson, and a foul called. Gotta like that hustle by Kane there.
Well, yeah, I think a great hustle to get back there. Kane took maybe the only bad shot I've seen him take in a couple of ball games. But the key now is they're going to get the ball back with 20 seconds left to play. They've got a chance to score again. And Trooper, I don't think he's going to miss any of these because he's a quality foul shooter.
Boy, is he ever.
But they've got a chance to go down and score again.
Now a 1-point lead for the United States. make that 2.
That's the kind of performance that you need from Trooper Johnson, not only at the end of the first half, but right through it.
Let's see now. I'm sure we're gonna see into the post. Oh. Well, no, Kane took it down himself.
Nearly went coast to coast. Didn't get that one to fall, and the Americans break back. Mike Schlappe with 7 seconds to go. He's been known to go coast to coast. He's going to do it this time. And gets the ball to fall as the buzzer sounds. And the Americans take a 4-point lead into the dressing room.
Well, that was quite a surprising first half based on all the stats and expectations we heard going into this.
So at the half, it's the U.S. 30, Great Britain 26.
And it could have been the other way. Great Britain comes down, misses a layup, an easy layup, and then U.S. goes back and makes the same layup. And both of them hung around that rim. One went in, one came out.
Well, Jack Donahue, what do you think that Coach Hendricks is going to be saying to his athletes right now? We're looking at him over there, talking to his team. He's looking like he's trying to motivate them, talking intensely, sort of saying, look, I guess we have to really start to address things. He's bringing out his playbook. Well, he's going to be trying anything he can to get those guys going.
Sure. I hope he's not trying to give them something new. He's going to show them, look, this is what we did to get here. This is exactly how we got here. We didn't get here by playing this kind of a half. Now, put it away, 20 minutes, let's come out, make believe this is the beginning of the game, remember who you are, remember who you represent, remember what you've done in these games so far. And here, look at, he's got himself a couple of things here that, now he's got the programs laid out, and he is drawing things in here, but you and I both know he's not drawing anything new. This is an accomplished coach with an accomplished team.
That's right. He's reinforcing the stuff that has got him into this tournament so far, into the final. And he's just going to want to get them refocused and challenge them. The British team, they're going to be emotional coming out here, and I guess the key will be to try to maintain that intensity but not overplay at this point.
Well, that's right, sure. Great Britain they've got to say, hey, this is our game. Let's play another 20 minutes of this game, and if it's 4 points, when we get down near the end, we'll figure out how to pull it out.
I guess if you're any coach, your dream in a situation like this, if you're Great Britain, is to be within striking range down to the last 5 to 4 minutes.
Sure, we got just a couple of baskets, and we're right back in there.
Okay, well, we've got John down on the floor with an interview.
Okay, we've got Nigel Smith of Team Great Britain here with me at the half, and you and I talked on Thursday night. It's been a totally different ball game as far as Team Great Britain is concerned. You've come out flying right from the start.
That's right. I mean, I think we're a bit unlucky to go in at the half 4 points down, because it usually be 4 points up.
Now, you've come right at the Americans. This hasn't been the trend throughout this tournament. They've got a couple of trees inside. Has that been the idea, is to go right after them?
Too right. We might only get one chance at this. We've got to go for it.
Okay, you've only got one chance, and this is probably a chance that you never dreamed you were going to get, although there was a promise to the British press coming into this tournament that you guys were going to come home with a medal. Tell us a little bit about that.
That's right. I think a lot of us have been playing a long time now, and we've all believed we're capable of getting a medal, and I think this tournament is our tournament. We've got a medal, but we want to make it a nice big gold one.
Now, what was the story really behind it? Was it as far as there was a lack of publicity regarding this team, or a lack of funding, or a little bit of both?
No, I think we do all right in Great Britain for publicity. We have a television series on every year. That gives us the publicity. But I'm sure if we get especially a gold medal, then once hopefully the papers will report it, and it will get even bigger.
And looking back to the previous 2 games setting up the stage for this gold medal match, you squeaked one out against Australia, you squeaked one out against France. You haven't been in this position in the last 2 games, trailing only 4 points at the half. What's the story coming into the second half?
Well, if we can stay 4 points behind towards the end, then I think the Americans are going to be worried. They've seen us squeak 2 games, as you've said. There's no reason why we can't squeak this one if we're close.
Steve Kane has been very impressive during the last 3 games, probably throughout the entire tournament. He's one of your leaders. Talk about the veteran players on this team that really want to win this one.
That's right. I'm one of the veterans. Mark Cheney, he's a veteran. The other guys have probably got another 2 tournaments left in them, maybe. But for me, this is possibly my last tournament. Might go for one more, but I'd love to get a gold medal.
We've been talking an awful lot to a lot of other teams preceding this game this afternoon about how much this might build some momentum going into Atlanta and the Paralympics there in '96. A lot of teams with a good mix of youth and veterans. How's it look for Team Great Britain?
Well, I think we're all peaking. We're peaking this year. Our age, we're all about between 28 and 32, which is probably a good age to be in wheelchair basketball. But if we can, if we don't relax after this tournament, keep up the intensity, which we've showed in our training and so on, and our preparation for Atlanta, then I think we could be out there again in the medals.
Okay, a big second half for your club. How do you continue to shut down the big guys on the U.S. and a guy like Trooper Johnson who can get unconscious and shoot the lights out?
It's just commitment, really. Team tactics don't really come into it, I believe. I think it's just commitment from every player on the court. They've got to identify their player, stick on them, and stop them passing or scoring. That's the key.
Okay, sorry to interrupt there, but I mean, we're ready for the second half in just a few minutes. We'll send it back upstairs to Jack and Rick. Thanks again, Nigel.
No problem.
Well, he said it, didn't he?
He sure did,
He just
Jack.
said it. Let's keep it close and get
Keep
there.
it close.
And I know that coach is going to say, these guys haven't been in close games. We have. I can remember saying, this is our game. Keep it close. Let's get at it.
And Nigel Smith, he's a veteran. He's been here so long, and so much of his career has been dedicated towards the dream of maybe one day winning a gold medal. And here he finds himself in possibly one of the last games of his entire career with a good, legitimate shot at. He's excited about that.
Kind of a tug at your heartstrings when he said, this might be my last one. I'd love a gold medal. But we've got some great highlights from that first half. Certainly not ones we anticipated, because everybody thought this was going to be a blowout.
Here's the story. British team right off the bat with the hero of last time game, Johnson.
Shepard, who's been kind of quiet here for a while, but there's the big guys.
Tree Waller, once he is inside, and I got to give Great Britain credit, they've really done a good job at doubling up and keeping the American big guys out.
Loose balls, the U.S. putting the ball on the floor is not a good idea. It brings it down to the level of the smaller Great Britain team.
Simon Munn, they want to go inside. They're not showing a lot of respect inside, and so that's a big part of the success of Great Britain in this first half.
Here's that great little pass. He didn't listen to me, Steve Ken. Just before that, I said, don't lob it. He came in, lobbed it, and gives him a basket.
Well,
I'm goosey. I'm ready.
I can tell you this is anybody's game, and really depends on who responds in the second half and how they come out.
I think the United States, is they're going to come out, and the next 5 minutes are really going to tell the tale of this game. If they don't blow it open in the next 5 minutes, it's going to become very tough. Then they're going to start looking up at that clock. Right now, they can say, nothing, beginning of the game, let's straighten out these poor guys from Great Britain.
And like you said earlier, Great Britain's had a lot of close games during the course of this tournament and throughout the entire year. So they're in comfort zone. If they can get into that last 5 minutes in touch and contact, boy, they can feel really good about that.
The World Wheelchair Basketball Championships are coming to you from Edmonton.
In the last few minutes there, they didn't give up. It really seemed to be motivated and mobilized by that intensity. Just look down on the floor right now, and you can see the British team is moving, and they're trying to stay loose. The American team is just slowly moving along, doing a lot of shooting because maybe they feel a little bit about the problems they've had shooting so far in the first half. But I don't know, it looks good from here.
Great Britain does warm up really with great intensity.
Look at Trooper Johnson. 9 points in the first half.
By 9 points, he had 9 points before the game started against Canada. I mean, he really had a show against Canada. I'd be worried. If I was Great Britain, I don't want this guy to get loosened up and start shooting that basketball. So he's a great scorer.
Trooper Johnson is one of those athletes that doesn't sort of come up with a lot of flash. He's just getting the job done. He's really great at taking advantage of opportunities. And he's got a lot of good poise, and I like to see him shooting. The fact that he's got 9 points is a good sign because he's on the mark.
Classified as a 2.5. And so when you consider that, pretty an amazing player.
Well, Rick and I were talking breakfast one morning about the fact you're looking for a 2.5 who can play like a 3.5. You know, everybody trying to play a point ahead of where they are.
Every time you're lower down in the classification and you're good enough to draw perhaps a 3 or 3.5, maybe even a 4 to guard you, what it does is just creates incredible opportunities somewhere in the offside in the mismatches.
All right, you hear? I heard in that U.S. thing, 20 minutes. And look at that.
20 miles, right, Coach?
That's right. And that's what it is now. We always say it's a 40-minute game. It's now a 20-minute game.
Stevie Kane leading the way for Great Britain with 8 points in the first half. And like we mentioned, Trooper Johnson with 9 for Team USA, a 4-point lead as we get set to tip off the second half of action in our gold medal game at the Gold Cup. John Sexsmith with Jack Donahue and Rick Hansen. Team USA wins the tip, and Trooper Johnson takes possession. Waller set there at the top of the key. Look at the advantage when he gets those hands up.
And boy, that's a big start for the Americans. Bringing Waller into this game.
Exact opposite of the start of the first half when it was Great Britain came down. Let's see how Great Britain handles it now.
Nice pass to Callum Gordon. Couldn't get that one. And there's Waller there for the outlet to Shepard. Runs into Price. All right, good job. Price likely moving on the play and a foul.
Quick start. Less than just a half minute gone by, and Great Britain's already got a foul. They've got to be. Don't put the U.S. where they're shooting every time they get whacked.
Shepard lob pass to Waller. Callum Gordon, who's not by any means a short man, just towered over by the tree when he gets there. Shepard baseline. And underneath is Colton. Couldn't get that one to go. Gets his own rebound and spins that one in.
Bad start. 4 points in 1 minute for the U.S. It's a bad start, Great Britain. They got to get a little bit of their type of tempo here.
Mark Cheney to Price now. Guarded by Shepard. Back to Cheney. Gordon and Kane trying to set up in the paint. Gets it to Gordon and gets it to go.
Good play. They needed that pass.
That's an incredible pass to thread the needle to get in there so that Reggie Coleman can't intercept it.
Waller puts on the brakes. Over to Johnson. Now Shepard. Sneaking in is Schlappy. And a foul called, I believe, on Dave the Bomber Bramley.
I think it was a clear call because I could hear it way up here before the shot. You know, the officials really taking control of this game.
Yeah, Gilles Briere is an outstanding Canadian official, and he could see the actual backward movement by Colton, and that indicated that there was physical contact by the defense.
You're probably saying that because he's never teed you up, Rick.
He's never given me many fouls, and I like him a lot.
A couple of quick fouls against Great Britain. 3 already here in the first minute, 47 seconds of the second half.
And the first 7 common fouls, that's fouls which occur when the person is not shooting, are not penalized. They're penalized as far as the number, but you don't get to shoot. You take it out on the side. And one of the problems here is that Great Britain has got 3 already, and one of them was a shooting foul.
And they got one of them there, 35-28, USA on top. 18 minutes to go here in the second half. Callum Gordon. Now Price. Nowhere to go except to Steve Kane. And gets it. Boy, has he been a clutch player for Great Britain this afternoon. And all tournament, actually.
And he's in the middle of the game already. He's gotten the ball almost by himself away from the U.S. You don't do that if you're trying to keep close.
Excellent intensity out here.
And intestinal fortitude also.
It's kind of a combination, I guess, between the two. Now Gordon made a nice move to slide by Colton, who had a big hand in his face, and on the fadeaway got it to go.
Outstanding.
He must have very soft hands, the way he puts that ball up there.
Johnson. Shepard positioned on the corner. Now he sneaks in. He gets the ball now. Shepard looking inside for Schlappy. Outlet to Johnson. Now to Schlappe. Johnson thinks about it. Quick pass inside to Shepard, and no mistake with that one.
Got that defense moving from side to side. About 3 good passes, crossed that lane, brought the defense back and forth, and then they slipped it right in for a layup.
In any defense, the more you pass, the better you are. But against wheelchair basketball, if you're passing quickly, you move them around and you open things up real fast.
16:45 on the clock as Kane goes to Price. And it falls. Foul called on Colton underneath. But he hit that one from long distance, not quite the 3, but he'll have a chance to make it 3. I guess he won't step up to the line.
Foul must have been against another player.
Oh, that's right. It was underneath against Colton. Great Britain does get the ball back as Cheney has it. They've cut that lead down to 3 points again. 16.5 minutes to go as Gordon. Nothing but net.
Gordon is their #1 offensive player. They need him to perform, and man, that guy can shoot.
Schlappe to Shepard. Great Britain hustling back on D. Trooper Johnson. And hustling out was Bramley, trying to make him to force that throw, but Trooper still gets it to go.
Speaking of great offensive players, Johnson has come here to play in the second half, and he's really making his presence felt.
That was a tough pass in the double team. Goes off the hands of Gordon and out of bounds, U.S. to inbounds.
That was a tough call. Could have gone either way, I'm sure, but ref was right there on top of it.
15:55 left to play in the second half. USA 39, Great Britain 36. An excellent game. Here, the gold medal game of the Gold Cup 94 tournament. Johnson doesn't get it to go. Underneath is Colton. Off the mark, and Callum Gordon brings it down. Now to Kane as Great Britain tries to hustle up the floor. Kane, couple of moves, decides he'll slow things down. Gordon trying to set up underneath, so too is Price. Wide open is Price, and his shot's off the mark, and Waller gets it. Quickly up the floor to Trooper Johnson on the breakaway. Off the glass, and in it goes. Trooper that was pretty easy, huh?
Well, Trooper played sneak. He stayed out around half court, figuring that he's got the 2 biggest guys in the game underneath the basket. Got away with it.
Johnson, the leading scorer in the game with 13 points so far. Now Price, bounce pass to Kane. Great basket.
That was such a quick release by Kane to avoid the stuff by Colton, who, as you can see by the fact he's on the floor, really made an effort to try to get that ball.
How he really went after him.
This is the Gold Cup World Wheelchair Basketball Championship from Edmonton.
If he hadn't made that shot, if Kane hadn't made the shot, we'd be talking about intimidation instead of concentration, right?
Now Shepard swings outside. Now Johnson. 14:35 to go. Little spin move. Doesn't fool Price, though. Gets it into Waller. There's a pretty good move as he goes towards the hoop. Gets it off and in and draws the foul on Bramley.
Now you got to watch this. This is unbelievable. Tree Waller is such a veteran. Here he is. He feels the pressure. Pass comes in from Johnson. Overplay, and he sees that, and he realizes he can drive here, get a great spot, and in it goes.
Completes the three-point play. Ups his total to 10 for the afternoon. USA with a total of 44. Great Britain 38. Kane underneath was Gordon. He didn't get the pass. Cheney does, though. Slides in. Overshoots the bucket. And Mike Schlappe gets it. Now up the floor come Team USA. Schlappe, look at this guy go. Nice little move, and then leaves it there for Colton. Gets it.
First 5 minutes, Great Britain did a good job of playing even with the U.S. This is key now. The next few minutes, see how the U.S. reacts to that.
And the difference here in this sequence has been that the U.S. has been able to get their big men opened up.
Colin Price was swooping in, fouled on the play.
But the U.S. can afford that foul. They're way ahead.
Yeah.
They're 4-1 in fouls. This gives them a second foul. Nobody is in real trouble except number 10 out there.
Dave Bramley checks out, and Simon Munn checks in as Great Britain makes a change.
You got to remember, although Colton has got 3 fouls, they are in control of the game to a certain extent. There's less chance of them reaching, trying to overexert himself and come up with his 4th foul.
Price hits his first free throw attempt. And you saw the results of the second one, but there's Simon Munn, and Trooper Johnson went down hard in the paint, and an official's timeout as they'll try and get him back on his chair again. That's actually a very dangerous situation when a player goes down like that, when guys are crashing the board, and that's usually when the official will take that timeout. Right, Rick?
That's right. They have a safety consideration. If there's a major impediment, then they're going to stop the play and make sure the guy's back on. If not, they'll let him get back in the self and until there is a problem.
Simon Munn, top of the popper, leaves it there for Price. He's shooting. Oh, I thought he was shooting a 3, but he gives it there to Callum Gordon. Nice pass, because I think everybody else thought he was going for the 3-pointer. And Gordon with the finishing touches.
Well, Callum Gordon is the guy that knows the meaning of trees and forest when he was in that. Get that shot up over there. We trying to tell guys an awful lot is shoot as if you're shooting it outside of a phone booth. And he certainly did that.
And that was Mark Shepard.
Nice to see Mark Shepard starting to put some balls in the hoop in the second half. He was a major force against Canada in the semifinals.
Right, he was very quiet in the first half, and that's due mostly to the defense of Great Britain.
3 of the 5 U.S. players on the floor right now in double digits. And Great Britain, but 2 of its 5 in double figures. They closed within 5 on that one.
Colin Price, their second leading scorer, coming in there and making himself felt. If I was Great Britain, Jack Donahue, what would you do in terms of the 3 fouls with Reggie Colton? Would you send someone like Callum Gordon in there to try to force him into a 4 or even 5 foul situation?
I'd see, without trying to force him, I'd play our regular game, but see if we could get Colton to guard him. You know, now they've taken, is it Colton is out for a little rest, or is he still out on the court?
Both Trewaller and Colton.
Right. But no, you're right. I don't think you want to change your offense too much, because pretty satisfied with it now in a 5-point game. But I think we'd throw a pass or 2 extra to the guy that their big man is guarding.
Filling in for the big man, number 11 Mike Hayes and number 12 Al Campos. Some veteran players for the U.S. Johnson's still in there, and so too is Schlappy. Those 2 have been pretty much the story. Not to mention Mark Shepard.
Shepard is that open shot. Well, but he's that open shot guy, and they had him under control in the first half, but having trouble with him right now.
Now Callum Gordon to Kane. 12:20 to go.
We got a foul down by the baseline. We had number 11, Mike Hayes from the United States, just pushing a little hard on Simon Munn.
Dan Johnson back into the game for Great Britain. Colin Price take a bit of a rest. They might need his scoring touch down the stretch as Great Britain trails by 7. Mark Cheney to Callum Gordon. Leaves it there for Johnson. Not a lot of movement inside. The U.S. preventing Great Britain from breaking in. Munn gets in this time, though. Leaves it there for Johnson. Misses that one.
Worked that around pretty well,
yeah,
and got themselves a very good shot.
Schlappy to Hayes.
Now's the time for Great Britain to make their move, though, with those big guys out for the U.S.
Bit of a mismatch now as Trooper Johnson had to get back on his chair, and he finally gets back into the play. There he is to get the ball now. Good pass to Hayes, and tried to get a little too fancy there as he sent the pass for Shepard. Picked off by Cheney, and now comes Steve Kane back for Great Britain. Now Johnson. Kane will take over as Gordon tries to sneak in. And he was blocked on the play by Mike Hayes, and Hayes draws the foul. This is the Gold Cup World Wheelchair Basketball Championship from Edmonton.
Interesting strategy by Coach Brad Hendricks to bring in number 11 Mike Hayes and Al Campos, veteran defensive players, not the height of Waller and Colton, but they've been really doing a good job tying up the British athletes from getting inside, even though they've drawn some fouls.
And quickly, Hayes takes his second straight foul, putting the hold on Callum Gordon.
Good foul, though. Good foul. I mean, he had Callum Gordon right in under the basket.
And I think
Can't
that's
afford to eat one up.
That's right, and I think that's the strategy. You're trying to, really put some pressure so they're not coming into the key as quickly as they were in the first half and the beginning of the second.
In other words, make them pay a little bit.
That's right.
And the U.S., realizing with their rebounding situation, is in less of a chance of fouling, so they can afford to give up a few.
Kane now. Johnson, good hands to grab that pass. And Hayes draws the hat trick in terms of fouls, another hold.
That was not a good foul. Certainly not one the coach wanted or he wanted, because it was a missed shot, an open shot that was missed, and he had great position to get the rebound. Although maybe the foul was the reason he had great position, you know.
6 fouls apiece in terms of team fouls. 10:48 to go. USA 50, Great Britain 43. Kane to Callum Gordon, off the glass, won't go down, and Campos picks it up and leaves it there for Johnson.
Callum Gordon shot that right in the face of Tree, and Tree didn't stop, but it just spun right out.
Schlappy. Some tough defense by Great Britain. Campos trying to break in, maybe a little too tough defense by Great Britain, as Cheney's called.
Mark Cheney is a Class 1. Boy, he can sure play physical for his ability.
Amazingly strong. Some of the things I see him do through this tournament were absolutely unbelievable. USA ups that lead to 9 points now.
That's the biggest lead they've had so far. And now Great Britain's got to come back, and which they do.
Oh, Mark Cheney pops a pretty pair there, got the spin move going, and during that motion, banked it off the glass. 52 for the USA, 45 for Great Britain. Mike Schlappy, bounce pass, intended for the Tree, and it goes off his trunk and out of bounds.
That's a rare miss by Tree Waller. I think
right.
He just took his eye off the ball as it came in and just lost the handle.
When players of that quality miss a pass, it has to be concentration. It has to be taking their eye off there, anticipating what's next. Maybe we can hear what's going on in the Great Britain huddle.
We're going 2-2-1, Simon halfway. Tony, all the way back. You hustling, okay? Look to jump out. Tony, you've got to match up at this end of the Great job, come on, GB. Come on.
2-2-1 defense sliding. They're going to try to match up and put some pressure on Trooper Johnson. They don't want him to be raining so freely out there and making plays.
2-2-1 usually means they're going to try and force the ball back into the middle and come up with it. Here's a nice play here, and there's the one where he did, just as you said, you could see him take his eye off that ball just before he went for it. Let's see how this looks now.
Heard Mike McCready talking about Tony. Tony Woolard now checks in for Great Britain. 9:40 to go here in our gold medal game. Johnson directing traffic out there. Gets it to Munn. Sumo bounce pass to Jaretny. Thinks of 3. Oh, that goes off the mark. Good hustle by Woolard to get that ball and take it away from a couple of big men. And it was Jaretny, and what a great play that was.
He was right in front of the U.S. bench. Naturally, they're screaming that he's out of bounds. He keeps his cool and drops it back underneath.
Now a charge call to Mark Shepard as Kane, the KG veteran, got in his way, hustling up the floor.
And that negated a sure basket with a 3-on-1 break that the Americans had. Let's take a look at this.
That pass back in. Now let's see this shot. Nice and easy, and gets it right up there. But that pass coming out of that corner, which seemed to be a dead play, really made it.
Joe Girardi's a little player, but boy, he can shoot if he's got the opportunity.
Here's that screening right off the post that gives him another open shot.
May have forced that one. Went hard off the glass, and what a great play on a steal. I think it was Simon Munn. Checked the ball free, gets it back. Falls. But the foul called, I guess, on Great Britain, or was that 5?
No, referee Gilles Briere was saying that his wheel was out of bounds before he made the pass.
Tough break.
Great effort, but what it did is it's got the U.S. now thinking about it. I realized they could have been in real trouble then.
Waller dumps it off for Slappy and takes a slap from Dan Johnson.
Looks like we're into the bonus now.
Well, what Great Britain had to worry about, but both teams are in the bonus, which is probably in Great Britain's favor.
Let's take a look at the foul. I think the referee might have called this a shooting foul, so it'll be 2 shots. Let's just take a look. There he is.
Comes in.
And right there, yeah, just releasing the ball.
I did.
Slappy goes 1 for 2, a 58% free throw shooter. Coming into today's game as Kane breaks it back up the floor. 8.5 minutes to go. Team USA with a 6-point lead. Spinning his way free is Kane. Looking inside for Woolard. Nice little dish to Girardi, who broke his way in back door.
That's a time play. That's a time play. That may not have come from the bench, but that's a play they've worked on an awful lot. He took the ball away, dumped it into a postman who dropped a blind pass behind him for the layup.
That's twice now we've seen that in the last minute or so as Shepard hammers it off the iron. Good save by Kane and a smart play to bank it off the Team USA player and out of bounds.
What a hustle.
Is that right? Kane has played some game here. We've got a timeout, and it's for the U.S. as well they might.
Yeah, they've been able to see a 9-point lead whittled down to only 4 points with Great Britain in possession.
Keep talking to each other, right? Come on, the defense. Come on, on the defense, guys, on the defense, I think we'll put 2 out, 3 back. You're out. Okay, Stevie, you're back. Okay, Simon, straight back. Yeah, okay.
Little defensive adjustment there. They're saying if they put 2 out, you're going 3 back to balance it out, move from that 2-2-1. But so far, they've been really excited about the quality of their defense and how it's been able to slow the Americans down.
That's right, and I keep talking again about talking.
Girardi's let his last pair of layups do the talking for Great Britain as they've closed within 4 points. Nice pass into Munn. And a pair of trees all over Munn.
Oh, I thought we were going to get a 5-second in the lane, whereas we've got a foul in here, and then we're on a one-on-one situation.
That's what I thought as well. I thought we were getting perilously close to 5, and I guess the foul happened just before the 5.
Talk about a precarious position. You've got the tree on one side, you've got Colton on the other, and they were just all over him. But he hung in there, and now he steps up to the line.
Now they know what happens in California when you get caught in the earthquake. You know, when you go down the middle, and you're just looking up all the time. But it doesn't seem to bother him.
Now Slappy, after that one bounces off the rim.
Dangerous.
Jump ball, possession arrow in favor of Great Britain.
Dangerous play. 3 athletes reaching in like that.
That's
right.
They
got the call and the possession.
Good pass into Johnson. Kane looks inside for Munn. He gets it. Good hands to keep the ball in his hands. Now Girardi. He's really come to form here in the second half. Pass for Munn. Perhaps not the best advised pass as Johnson comes back for the U.S. Lots of action inside. Lob pass for Waller. Off the mark, gets his own rebound after a tip ball, and then finally pops it down.
Lucky break. Another U.S. player tipped it back to him. But that's their strength, is get that ball inside and then keep it alive.
Danny Johnson to Kane with 6:40 to go. USA with a 6-point lead. Woolard hoping for the pass, gets it. He'll leave it there for Kane with 7 seconds on the shot clock. Fade away. He was actually fading right off the floor and missed on that one. This is Gold Cup World Wheelchair Basketball from Edmonton.
Well, I'll tell you, if Great Britain before this tournament was told you could be in a game with the U.S. with 4 minutes left to play and a 5 or 6 point game, they wouldn't have made the trip. But now that they're here, they want a lot more than that. That's not enough for them right now.
Really are a tough team, judging by the last couple of victories to get them into this game. And even throughout the tournament, they play it tough and they never quit.
Well, they're in a 6-point game, 6.5 to go.
Schlappy to inbounds. Colton to Waller. Trying to slow things down. Colton breaking in back door. Deflected by Munn.
Good job by Munn. Got his hand up. The key on that play is somebody's got to keep a lot of pressure on the passer. Most people look and see the guy who blocked that pass, blocked the ball at the other end. The passer has time to look in. He's going to thread a needle.
Schlappy to Johnson. Giratny providing a little resistance as things get fairly physical in the paint.
Looks like Munn picked up a foul there on Reggie Colton. Just riding him a little too hard as he crossed through the key.
And that's Munn's 4th. He's the only one in real foul trouble on the floor right now.
But that is real foul trouble for Great Britain because Munn is their only key guy inside.
Colton connecting. Had a pretty good game against Canada, 10 points and 10 boards. He was leading the club with 11 rebounds through the tournament, and he pops the pair there. USA with an 8-point lead. Giratny. Munn, he was trying to sneak by. Now Johnson, a little bit of room there, and he's going to take advantage. Gets it.
That's Johnson's shot. They're really going to need him to continue to perform right there on the top of the key or over to that left side, bouncing it off the board.
Now the clock is beginning to become a little bit of a factor. It was 6.5 and 6 points. Now it's 5.5 and 6 points. They've got to chop into that lead.
2 men already back on defense for Great Britain. And that's before the U.S. had even crossed the timeline. But inadvertently taking a foul.
I didn't hear it quite up here, but I'm sure there were people on that Great Britain bench screaming, little foul, you know, call the big ones.
Let's take a look at that.
Looked like a little slap. Let's see how it is. But he's a tough guy. He's got 2 shots at it.
There he is, all over his left arm.
Yeah. He's thinking about the contact he made with his hand. He's ignoring the contact he made with his left arm.
Schlappy, no doubt, happy about getting those 2. U.S. lead now 8 again. Kane with the ball.
Coach Donahue, I guess foul shooting at this point and throughout the entire game is critical. It seems to me like the Americans have just been a little stronger at the line in the second half.
And it's crucial for Great Britain. They have to score a few points with the clock stopped.
Price, lob pass. That's a tough pass to make when you got the tree standing there. Try to hit Tony Woolard, and the tree now back up the floor for USA. 5 minutes to go.
Usually in any sport, that's a great block.
Danny Johnson there to get a paw on it. Goes off his head. Saved by Kane.
And Great Britain is screaming for that 5-second club. But to pass the ball inside, almost every sport, it's better to take it on an angle than straight ahead. He tried to throw that past Great Britain player tried to throw it in from near the top of the key. There's too many people on, there are people on both sides that can help. Whereas if you get to a side, there's only one group that can help.
Waller, you hear Colton calling tree. Gets his own rebound and delivers on that one, the second attempt. 10 points now, the U.S. lead.
As soon as someone like Waller gets position on a guy like number 5, Tony Willard, he's going to scream all day and sit there until his 5 seconds expire because he wants that high percentage shot.
Johnson, guarded by Shepard. Nice pass there for Price. Lots of room, suddenly closed down by Colton. Maybe should have shot that one.
Well, maybe, but, I mean, I think got a timeout by Great Britain.
I think the lights went out. You know, you saw Waller and Colton's hands go up there, and all of a sudden there was nothing left.
An eclipse.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Let's listen to Great Britain.
Get something.
2-2-1. Yeah. No, 4-1. 4-1. Johnny, you're coming straight back. Come on, okay? Come on, guys. Play disciplined defense. Listen, play disciplined defense. Simon, post up. Post up. Colin, encourage the guards to get into the post position. Okay, and just run off it and lay up to that end. Work together with each other.
Simon Nunn to actually post up, and Munn will actually provide an opportunity for crossing off of him for a layup down low. And they really want them now to turn their offense up. They're down by 10 points. Defense alone at this point is not going to actually carry it with less than 5 minutes to go.
They need the ball. 4-1. As far as I can understand, the 4-1 men, 4 men right up all over the ball when the U.S. gets it, and only one back on defense.
Price gets that one, leaves it there for Johnson. 4:15 to go. Kane goes up. Missed
Had to
the
get
mark.
the shot up.
Yeah,
No time on
shot clock was running down, and Waller has it now.
Well, let's see how we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 people coming right up to challenge the ball. Only one going back.
Mark Shepard with it. Now to Waller. Gordon there trying to front him. Now to Shepard. The U.S. content with keeping the ball outside and then sneaking inside was Shepard.
When you
and Kane took the foul.
Yeah, but when you mention Shepard, we have to realize U.S. hasn't been able to use their subs. I mean, at this time in the game, none of these players would normally be in the game for the U.S. because they'd be up 25 or 30 trying to give some other people a little experience. We have the same people out here that have started most of this tournament.
Precisely. And boy, do they have a loaded bench. So
Rick mentioned about Shepard earlier. He's just come alive. You know, you can't forget about him, and yet you've got to double down on somebody, and he seemed to be the quiet one.
How do these stats sound? Schlappy with 12, Shepard with 13, Johnson with 13, Waller with 12, and Colton with 10 points. All 5 in double digits.
We had Steve Kane there being called for a foul inside. You just feel the momentum starting to slowly slip away.
You can see the four Great Britain players up in this half of the court, the defensive end of the court, or pardon me, pressing full court, and only one man back on defense.
And as the British team continues to extend their defense, the Americans are absolutely phenomenal at taking advantage of it and getting guys like Colton and Waller inside and layups.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to see. A lot of backdoor layups coming out of this if that defense stays out there.
Tony Willard forced to take the foul as the much quicker Mike Schlappy tried to beat him.
Put that down, got a good angle and has to get fouled. They had no defensive position at all for Great Britain.
Schlappy, a pretty fearless player out there. He's not afraid to drive that lane. Took it on the chin there, literally. Now there's Schlappy with it. Approaching 3 minutes to go here in the second half of our gold medal game at Gold Cup 94. Dan Johnson hustles after that ball, trying to save it.
Just couldn't.
Look at that collision.
Boy, took a piece out of that table over there. That's what he did, and he's right back there.
And great hustle by Johnson. Nevertheless.
Let's take a look at Johnson. The crowd's really appreciating that kind of hustle. He's trying to get that ball. He just gets hold of it, but there his front wheels are on the line as he pushes it back. And then there's the collision with the table. full force right into the chest.
Schlappe. Good battle there between Kane and Schlappe. Kane gets it. Nice pass to Woolard. Breaking down the lane was Callum Gordon. He's sitting there in the paint now waiting for the pass as Price has it. 2:30 to go here in the second half. USA 62, Britain 51. Steve Kane going towards the hoop.
And he
Wasn't
had
get
it in
that
there.
one to go, unfortunately.
All right, they got 4 up, 4 pressing, only 1 back.
He thought he was fouled there. Had a few words for Gilles Briere.
Colin Price leaning in just a little much on Mark Shepard.
That's Colin Price's 5th foul, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll tell you this: a lot of talk and a lot of enthusiasm on the coaches in the U.S. huddle. I mean, they are not taking this for granted. They got an 11-point game. They're semi-embarrassed to be in this kind of a situation.
Well, they know that if they're not intense right through the last 2 minutes here, they're going to get eaten up by a really hungry British team. They want this gold medal, and they're never going to quit, just like they did against France earlier on.
Oh, that's right.
And Australia, a similar situation here. I think Britain was down about 10 points with a little over 2 minutes to go, and boom, the Brits came back to win that one.
Well, I can remember that one. 6 seconds left to play. Up 3 with a guy on a foul line for Australia, and Great Britain came down and in 6 seconds scored 4 points to win.
So I don't know if they've run out of rabbits and pulling them out of the hat, but one thing's for sure, you know they're not going to quit.
Well, don't ask me how they did it. Get 4 points in 6 seconds, or else if I could remember that and figure it out, I'd be back coaching.
Well, if I remember, can I get an assistant coaching gig with you?
That's right.
Mark Shepard up to the line. He's had a solid game all around. And that was an all-around good shot as it went around the cylinder and finally dropped. Not so fortunate this time, but still a 12-point lead for the USA. Steve Kane.
The object for Great Britain now is bring it under 10. Get it under 10, and then let's look at it again.
Kane again. Here's a 3-point specialist, Duratny, but he'll nail that one from 2-point distance.
The 3 and 2 point is determined by the back wheels. He must have had his wheels either on or inside the 3-point line.
Colton up the floor all by himself. Leaves it there for Johnson with 1:40 to go. Bounce pass to Shepard. Colton to Waller, top of the key, mishandles it.
But U.S. playing conservative. I mean, they were right down there, had a shot, kind of got a sense of this clock, and took that ball back out again. Normally, they would never, ever think of not taking that shot.
And probably the type of team that can get away with it because so much skill and 2 very big men out there that you can work the ball around with.
8 seconds on the shot clock. Americans are going to have to move here.
And they did. They committed a foul.
A little too much. There's an example of Gilles Briere seeing Reggie Colton just be too aggressive, trying to run over the defensive man to get position, and he called it.
Johnson rolls the ball in. It won't start until possession. The clock starts now.
Seems like a little thing, but it's 3 or 4 seconds.
Now Tony Woolard doesn't want to hang on too long. Gets it there for Johnson. Leaves it there for Duratny, 3-pointer. And there was a kind of hush all over the crowd as they saw that one go up. Now Shepard with it. To Waller. In for Colton, sneaking in his Schlappe. And there he is. What a fearless player. He has been so impressive.
He's very steady. He's the kind of class 1.5 that you really want on your team. Steady, consistent, knows his role, and is disciplined.
Here's that breakaway. Shepard has that basketball and flips it out to the side. But there's the pass down deep. Look at this. 3, 4 different players touch that basketball to end up with a layup.
Kane with it. Spins, unfortunately falls, but Tony Woolard picks it up. And a referee's timeout as they try to get Steve Kane back on his wheels again.
This Tree Waller give him a little help.
All right.
The crowd really appreciates that.
Right, and no need for the game to continue. I don't think he was in any real trouble, but Great Britain had the ball. Let's stop the game and let's get them their fifth man.
Simon Munn tries the three-point shot.
And there's the foul.
They're going to be forced to take these fouls now. Kane reaching in.
40.1 seconds left.
And the strategy now has to be is U.S. missed the foul shots. If U.S. makes the foul shots, it's like pounding the final nails into the coffin. But if they miss those foul shots, every time they do, opportunity for Great Britain to get another good shot at the basket.
Colton stepping up to the line. 40.1 seconds. A 12-point U.S. lead. Simon Munn leaves it there for Steve Kane. Can Great Britain come back? Kane from three-point range misses. Goes directly out of bounds, and the U.S. will take over. Schlappe to inbounds. There for Waller. Runs out of room as Kane gets in his way, but he still hooks up with Trooper Johnson. Now to Schlappe. Good pass to Colton, who slid in there. And a bucket of real goodness.
That pretty well puts it out of reach, without a doubt.
That's right. But and as Rick said, as you spread your defense out, you're susceptible to people sliding in behind you for layups. But this has been a great basketball.
The fans counting it down as Giratny tried an underhand three-pointer and then takes a little stroll off the floor.
Giratny didn't, on that shot, he didn't need a bigger basket. He needed a bigger gym. I mean, he nearly threw it out of here. But again, the frustration, they have played so hard, they just want to get it over with.
What an incredible series tournament by the United States team. Boy, have they ever vindicated themselves to show that in spite of the setback they had in Barcelona, that they're the #1 team in this world, and they're prepared for Atlanta in 1996.
And they are, and we've been talking about them not playing that well. They won by 14 points. I mean, 14 points can win you 14 games.
Final score, Team USA 67, Great Britain 53. Stick around.
You know, Jack, this American team might not have the individual stars that I've seen in past years. It's probably one of the best absolute team efforts by an American team I've ever seen. All the credit goes to Brad Hendricks to give them a system to work in and insist that they follow his guidelines in order to win this championship.
As we talked to some of the players in the hotel over the last few days from the U.S., they said some of the better players are not here because they're not ready to fit into this system. He's treated this as a national team that represents the U.S., that represents every athlete that plays in a wheelchair across the United States. They want them to be on time, good representatives in the locker room. Reg McClellan, had a chat with him earlier, said he has never played against a U.S. team that was as sportsmanlike. He said it took a lot of the sting out of their 30, 40-point loss the other day, the fact that the U.S. was sportsmen right from the start.
Of course, when you have a sportsman-like champion, it's really difficult to find that extra motivation because, you know, if you don't like the guy, if he's a jerk, you can find a little bit more energy and say, I'm going to do this one for the Gipper or something.
Oh, sure. I mean, you're always hoping somebody, and especially somebody from the U.S., will be obnoxious about it because they usually stand out there and you're looking for a chip in the arm.
And look at the crowd, flags waving for the British team. What an amazing performance. Their coaches said before they left they were going to come back with a medal, a silver medal, and having a good run at the gold. It's right. Unbelievable.
Getting lined up now. They're going to have the award ceremony, which is an unbelievable thing for international basketball. If you haven't been privy to this, this is a symbolic, traditional approach to medal awarding.
Let's see if they actually start to move towards that net. You know,
that's right. The
net is a prized possession as they start to cut it down.
There's a proud young man right there with that trophy. They will award the individual medals in a few moments. They've got to clear the court a little bit, get the other teams lined up, a little bit of ceremony. But I think if people stay with us, they'll really enjoy it. And I think it's important that we see Great Britain get their medal, that we see the United States get their gold medal, and we see Canadian get their medal.
And Jack Donahue, what an outstanding tournament this has been. All the credit goes to the organizing committee for the Gold Cup Society here in Edmonton for putting on a very well-balanced, exceptional tournament that anyone is going to have difficulty meeting in the future. These athletes have enjoyed themselves, and a lot of credit also goes to the coaches, the administrators, who really get very little attention, and the referees, because them and the countless volunteers work together to put on an event like this and make it a success. And boy, it's been a real privilege being a part of this thing.
Well, it certainly has, and you and I, working with you has just been unbelievable in the preliminary, but then having a chance to sit up here and learn a little bit more about this game has been great for me. And we got to do this again, but I'll tell you, this is great basketball.
And there's the Gold Cup.
That's right. Oh, look at it. Heavy. Yeah, it's heavy. The guy's complaining. Don't complain. Huh?
Every athlete there will get a chance to feel that, touch it, kiss
look
it.
At it. I was going to say kiss it. That guy said, get out of here. This is mine. Look at him. He is
Reggie Colton can hold it high, too.
That's
He's
right.
a powerful force in the American team.
And he could be sure nobody else is getting it unless it's Tree.
Yeah, Tree's the only one that can hold it any higher. There it is. There's Tree Wallen.
Yeah, now that's the end of it. I guess nobody else gets that again. Tree just holds it up there and doesn't worry about it.
Boy.
Somebody must have thought they were going to win. They got Gold Cup champs on their hats, huh?
Good for them.
That's right.
Well, we know we have John down the floor ready for an interview. John, take care. It's been a real pleasure working with you.
Likewise, fellas, and the final score here this afternoon. Team USA winning gold medal after an incredible tournament. They were pre-tournament favorites. They came back today after a fairly sluggish first opening half. They were up by 3 at the half, and then they simply pulled away. And hopefully we can grab Mike Schlappy. Can I grab you? Just talking to Trooper Johnson after the victory on Thursday night. And this team has so much depth. I look at the end of the game stats and 5 guys in double figures, all 5 starters. This team really is loaded with depth.
Yeah, I think that's one of the keys is the coach. You know, the last 3 weeks has been preaching balance and teamwork. And, you know, we had guys on the bench that could have contributed double figures too. So I agree with Trooper. He's my roommate, so I usually don't agree with him. But anyway, no, he's right. We had a lot of balance. I didn't see the final stats, but you could tell the scoring was really spread out.
And the big story coming into this tournament, and you were listed as pre-tournament favorites, was the fact that there was a controversy at 92 at Barcelona, and the fact that you guys were stripped of your gold medal. I guess this has got to mean a lot for you.
Oh, this means a lot. You know, we still hope to go back to Atlanta and retain the gold from the Paralympics, but this is a world championship, as high a level of basketball as you can get, and we're looking forward to taking these scissors and cutting the nets down any minute now. So it's great. We're excited.
Okay, I'm going to grab Reggie Colton now, an integral player. Reggie, an integral player throughout this tournament. You guys were the cause for concern throughout this entire tournament, yourself and Tree. And again, we have to allude to the depth of this club tonight, or this afternoon. A lot of players were keying on you guys, but still the other guys came through.
Yeah, it's been a team effort the whole way through, and tonight is just another example. If you can look at the balanced scoring and see that it was a team thing.
This team was winning by an average margin of victory, about 30 points throughout the tournament. Great Britain pushed you through the limit. You were only up 3 points going into the dressing room. What was said during that time?
Well, they came to play. They came to play, and we had to suck it up and dig down and try to come out on top, because they just like we were. They're after the same thing that we were after, and so we just had to dig down deep.
Does that the fact that you really had to dig down deep make this victory a little more pleasing, because it was pretty much a cakewalk leading up to this game?
Yeah, they pushed us to the limit, and with it being as close as it was, it just makes it that much sweeter, because it was not easy. It was not a walk in the park. We knew it was not going to be a cakewalk, and yeah, it makes it just that much sweeter.
And now you've got a couple of years to prepare for Atlanta. No doubt you've got your sets on getting a gold medal pretty much at home.
Yeah, I like to be a part of that. Yeah.
Okay, congratulations, Reggie, on a great tournament and a great victory. Reggie Colton of the U.S. And now we're going to come and step up beside Mark Shepard, who was a perennial leader in terms of assists throughout this tournament. Again, we've been alluding to the fact that Team USA is loaded with depth, and again today you proved that.
I don't know what to say, except, yeah, we worked hard. I think it was a team effort. If you noticed our scoring and assists and all that, they were pretty balanced throughout the tournament. if you looked up on the scoreboard today, everybody was pretty much equal. And it took all 5, actually all 12 players, and the coaching staff did a hell of a job.
This team has got an excellent mix of players. You've got rookies, you've got veterans. How does it look going into Atlanta for 1996 in the Paralympics?
Well, I think if we stay focused and keep playing, I think we're the team to beat. I think people are going to have to come get us. Obviously, France was its favorite team here, and they didn't make it to the final round. Got knocked off by Canada for the bronze. So there's a lot of tough teams out there, and we can't let down a bit. If we do, the tournament or the trophy will go somewhere else. So it's important that we keep focused.
And how tough is it going to keep that focus? You've been blowing away teams by an average of 30 points at this tournament. Nobody's really given you a test in the last few years except for 92, and teams like the Netherlands and France did that then. Is it going to be tough to keep that focus?
Well, I think there's depth in the United States, a lot of depth. There's a lot of people here that could have been here that weren't. In terms of players from the United States, top caliber, world-class ball players. But I think that all in all, I think the coaching made the difference this time. In the past, the coaching hasn't had the depth that it is, and we did a lot of homework, a lot of study, a lot of film review, and we studied the teams, and we knew exactly what we had to beat when we came on the floor. So I think that was the main turning point for the U.S. team and our dedication and commitment to the game.
I want to get your thoughts on this tournament in general, the city of Edmonton, the entire 10 days of basketball, your thoughts and impressions.
This is by far the finest tournament I've had a pleasure of attending. I think that Edmonton's did a superb job. The people have been friendly. The accommodation's superb. The tournament's been run very well, and I was happy to be a part of it.
Well, we were glad you were part of it too. An excellent victory here, an excellent tournament throughout. Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, we're going to look for the American coach right now, and oh, there he is. Boy, the roving reporter or what?
Okay, now.
Now with me now, Brad Hendrick.
Oh, Lord.
They're calling you the brain trust behind this, but you really have a talented team here. It shouldn't be too hard to work with a bunch like that.
Well, they're obviously, coaching genius starts with athletic talent, and we had tremendous athletic talent. We also had a cadre of very experienced and competent, and some of the coaches, some of the best coaches. I handpicked Lou Shaver, who, though he's titled assistant coach, there were many times on the bench where he was serving as a surrogate head coach when I seemed to have lost mine. And, you know, I think it's just a tremendous accomplishment for all of us. We've been working very hard at this. This team's been together through tryouts and training since the 7th of the month. We're beat, but we accomplished what we set out to do. We coach a little differently. Our playing system's different from from the system that most of these players use, and I think it's a testament to their desire to get to this point and to win this Gold Cup that they were able and willing to make that transition, because it has been a substantial one for them, I think, to move to the system of play that Lou and I plan to install. They're a tremendous group of people. I have the greatest admiration and respect for them, and they have certainly earned this.
Is that a system that you would claim is exclusively yours?
Well, you know, I don't know that anything is exclusively yours. You know, most genuine ideas are pretty rare, actually, but it's a system that Lou and I developed in our collegiate coaching, because as collegiate coaches, we have a high turnover. We don't have the opportunity to get 10 elite athletes and retain their services in our teams for 10 or 12 years. We turn them over every 4 years. We have to be able to teach people to play the game pretty quickly, and so we think we've done a pretty good job of coming up with a system that works. And but it is quite different from most of the community programs. And
an excellent job by yourself and the rest of the coaching crew to keep these elite athletes in check. Really a good bunch of players and a good bunch of guys, and congratulations on a great victory, and good luck in 2 years' time when you're at home in Atlanta.
Well, thanks very much. And I'd also like to add that it's just been a pleasure to be here in Edmonton. The people have been wonderful. The tournament has been undoubtedly the best organized of all time. It's been a most hospitable spot, and hats off to all of you. It's been a tremendous experience. And
thanks, and congratulations again, Brad Hendrick. Now, we're going to wrap things up here in Edmonton. Team USA winning Gold Cup 94 with a victory over Great Britain this afternoon. Goodbye, everybody.